Hello everyone. So today we are going to be learning how we can use PHP and HTML together. And when I say HTML, I mean HTML and JavaScript and so on. So in this particular episode, we are going to be writing HTML inside PHP. That means we are going to be learning how we can write HTML code inside PHP, and vice versa. We're also going to be learning how to write PHP inside HTML tags, and you learn how to use some CSS styles with the PHP. So by the end of this episode, you are going to learn the basic knowledge on how to create a website, and also you will learn why HTML, PHP, JavaScript, CSS are all a very perfect combination. Okay, so let's go to the first one, which is what do we need PHP and HTML for? So for that, let's understand the purpose of HTML and PHP. So with the use of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, you can create the basic of static website. Static website simply means that whatever you write in the line of code are the things that are going to be displayed on the browser. What I mean by that is that everything on the code are what are going to be seen on the browser. Nothing is going to be coming straight from the database. What PHP does is that it can help you get information from the database and send to the website. And you may want to ask that, can you connect HTML, CSS, JavaScript straight into the server? Well, the answer is no. Okay, there are some advanced methods, but those ones are for advanced website projects basically. But on a basic level, you cannot connect HTML, CSS, JavaScript to this database. To do that, we are going to need a server-side scripting language, for example PHP or ESP, but here we are using PHP. So basically, HTML and CSS helps to create a website, give it a good look, the color, and all the look of the website. While PHP helps to make the website unique and dynamic. Help to make it dynamic by getting data from the database. So if you want to create a website that looks good and is dynamic, then you will need HTML and PHP together. And like I said that in this episode, when I talk about HTML, I also mean HTML, CSS, and also JavaScript. So now let's go into VS Code and let's see how you can write a HTML tag and create an HTML tag under a .php file. So right now I'm just simply going to create a new file. Let's call this PHP with HTML. Then inside I'm going to create a tag, PHP tag. So, and then inside the PHP tag, let's say PHP with HTML. So just a simple line of code. Let's check that. Let me refresh this, and then you can see. So let's say I want to make this text a bit bolder. To do that, I will need to use HTML. So first thing, we need to learn how to use HTML inside PHP. So what I'm going to do now is to use echo. Then I'll use h1 tag. So how do we do that? Echo here, then you put in h1 tag. Sorry, you open it, h1 tag, then you close it like this. That's it. So let's check out the output right now. So here you go. You can see that the text is now bigger and bolder. So if you want to do style, let's say you want to do style, how you do it is open the h1 tag and then put in style like this. Then you put in a single quote and then color, and you can say red, and then save and refresh. So you can see that. So not only the h1 tag, that you can also do this for. If I can come here and copy this now, paste it and change this to like another tag, let's say h3. So right here, if I change to h3 and then change the color to like green and refresh it, you see it working fine. So inside this, you can use multiple PHP tag. One tag is here closed. I can still create another tag down below again. So inside this new PHP tag right here, you can also use another. Let's say you want to do a variable. So I talked about variable in the last video already. So let's say name is like an easy dude as usual, and then right here you want to use like h3 tag for the variable, just say echo. So and inside that you can do h1 tag or any tag you want to do. Then you open the tag, the h1 tag, and close it. Then after that, in between that, you put in $sign and name, and then you save. That's an h1 tag for the variable name. Refresh. If it is old version of PHP, you may want to quote the variable like this. Quote it here, and then you can also quote it here, just like it is here, and save it. It will still give you the same result. But in the latest version, you don't need to do it. But I'm just doing it as an example for you. So far we have learned how we can use HTML inside PHP, as we have done in all the examples here. So right now, how can we use PHP inside HTML? It's very simple. Just go down and create an h1 tag right now, and inside it you can create a PHP tag just like I did here, and then echo, and you can put in any text in the column, like this is the heading, something like this. Then you can save and then refresh. You see how it works. That is it. So in the h1 tag, let's say for example you want to do some other thing like add style and color. Simple. Just come into in between the tag and say style, and then style and equal to color. Then you set color to be, let's say for example, let's say blue. Let's use blue, and then you save it and then you refresh. So you see. So let's try something else. Let's say you want to use like a variable. So it's very simple. All you have to do now is to create another tag of HTML. Let's say h1 tag or h3 tag or any tag at all you want to use. It doesn't matter. So what you're going to do now is that you're going to put in PHP inside that HTML. So PHP and then echo something, and let's say the name. Now you may want to ask if you can use the variable on one PHP inside another PHP. Well, it is very possible if it is under the same file. You understand? So it is possible to use that variable. So that is done, and then you save and then you refresh. You can see. And if you want to do something else like put in my name is, so you can have other text like my name is, so with the PHP import of it, it will still work. And if you refresh it. So now let's move on to how you can make style and dynamic with the help of PHP. Okay. So let's say you have an h2 tag, and then inside the h2 tag you are using let's say PHP tag of echo and name. So that is very simple. Let's check that. All right, perfect. Now let's say we have multiple h2 tags, and then inside there, let's say we put in here dummy test, and we do another one here. Let's say we put in front of the variable my name is. Okay, so let's check the results. You can see here that everything now they are all h2 tag, as you can see. So let's say you want to do a style of like adding color to like green. So the first h2 tag you do style, and then you set the color as green. You know how we do it. I've done this before. So green, and then the first line should be green now. So you just copy this and paste it into the other ones like this. But example now, what if somebody come now, your client, and say you should change it to sky blue? So a simple way you can do it is like, okay, change it to sky blue, and then you can copy and paste it, and that is how you do it on the 3 tag. Then you refresh. So if the person now come again and say change it to like yellow, then you have to still copy and paste. That is very, very stressful and long process. You know, right now we only have like 3 lines. So what do you think will not happen if it is more than 3 and it's like, you know, very long? It will be stressful to be making changes over and over again. So the best thing you can do is to save that color as a variable. So when you make a change at once, it will affect everything. So it will be easier for you to change the color instead of doing it over and over again. Okay. So what you want to do is that create a variable under the PHP tag and say $sign h2 color or whatever name you want to call it, then equals to sky blue. Then inside those colors, now you go down and then you come here and clear this and change it to echo. So inside PHP echo $sign h2, then you just copy that line and paste it on each and every lines here at once. That's all. Okay, why are we getting error? Okay, I didn't close it with semicolon, so just close the semicolon, close the semicolon, close the semicolon, and then go back up and close that as well. So take note of all these little things so you can see how that works. So if anybody say you change the color to another color, let's say orange, just change it to orange, orange, and that's all. Just save it. It will apply on the remaining h2 tags. So refresh and you see that how that works. So we have learned how to write PHP inside HTML and have some basic knowledge on how to create dynamic websites. So in our next episode, we'll be talking more on how to do more with PHP and HTML. So yeah, I'll see you in the next episode.